In question 8, part 1, we have to show that 3 sin x tan x minus cos x plus 1 equals to 0 can be written as a quadratic equation in cos x, and hence we have to solve the equation 3 sin tan minus cos plus 1 equals to 0 for x 0 to pi. So in part 1, as we have to bring our equation in terms of cos, so we can write tan as sine upon cos. So this will become 3 sine into sine upon cos minus cos plus 1. So we'll get 3 sine squared over here, and this is equals to 0. So taking the LCM, we'll get 3 sine squared minus, so as the denominators are 1 over here, so cos will multiply by cos and become a cos squared. 1 into cos will be cos upon, so this will be upon cos equals to 0. Now this cos will multiply by 0 and become a 0, and we know that the identity is sine squared plus cos squared equals to 1. So sine squared can be written as 1 minus cos squared. So we can write this as 3 into 1 minus cos squared plus cos equals to, so cos into 0 is 0. Expanding the bracket, we'll get 3 minus 3 cos squared minus cos squared plus cos equals to 0. Simplifying, this will become minus 4 cos squared plus cos plus 3 equals to 0. And to make the square term positive, we can write it as 4 cos squared minus cos minus 3 equals to 0. Now factorizing this, we'll get 4 cos squared minus 4 cos plus 3 cos minus 3 equals to 0. Taking common, we'll get cos minus 1 plus taking 3 common, this will become cos minus 1 equals to 0. So simplifying this, this will be cos minus 1 and 4 cos plus 3 equals to 0. So one of the values of cos theta, so that the variable is x, so this will be cos x will be equals to 1 and cos x will be equals to minus 3 upon 4. Now in the first step, we find the basic angle. So in this case, this will be cos inverse of 1. And over here, the basic angle will be cos inverse of 3 upon 4. When finding the basic angle, we do not use the negative sign. Now, cos inverse of 1, when we substitute this in the calculator, so in that case, the basic angle will be equals to 0. And substituting cos inverse of 3 upon 4, so that will be equals to, so shift cos inverse of 3 upon 4, that is equals to 0.7227. Now, once we have the basic angles, now we can find the values of x. Now, as the x values are from 0 to pi, so in this case, we'll just make cos in the first quadrant, as the range is from 0 to pi, which is basically 0 to 180. So 0 will be made in the first quadrant, and for the basic angle 0.7227. Now, in this case, cos is negative, so we'll make cos in the negative quadrant, which is the second one. So we'll make the basic angle over here, which is, so this angle will be 0.7227. So x will be pi minus 0.7227. So one value of x will be x equals to 0, and the other value will be pi minus 0.7227. So pi minus 0.7227, that is equals to 2. So one of the values of x is x equals to 0, and the other value is pi minus 0.7227, which is equals to 2.4188. Giving an answer to 3 significant figures, this will be x equals to 2.42 radians. So these are the two values of x equals to 0 and x equals to 2.42. In part 2, the question is, we have to find the solution of the equation 3 sin 2x tan 2x minus cos 2x plus 1 equals to 0 for x 0 to pi. Now, this is the same equation as the one in the first part, but the only difference is we have 2x instead of x. So the solutions that we had before cos x equals to 1, we can write it as cos 2x will be equals to 1 and cos 2x will be equals to minus 3 upon 4. We already know that the basic angle in both the cases was theta is equals to 0, and over here theta was equals to 0.7227. Now this 2x basically represents a second revolution, so it means we can have more than the two values of x that we previously had. So when it is 2x, so we add 2 pi to the answers, so this will become x will be equals to the one of the values was 0, we can add 2 pi to this answer, and this will be 2x. So 2x will be equal to 0 and 0 plus 2 pi. So over here, the x values will be 0 and 2 pi divided by 2 will become pi. Now, when the basic angle is 0.7227 and it is a negative value, so we'll make 0.7227 over here. So one value that we already had from the previous part was 2x will be equals to, so that value was 2.42, and we can make 0.7227 in the third quadrant as well, as cos is negative in both of these quadrants. So adding pi to 0.7227, that will be equals to, so that is equals to 3.86, 3.864. And now as it is 2x, we can add 2 pi to both of these answers. But as when we divide by 2, the answer will be above pi. So we'll just leave it to these two values. Now dividing both of them by 2, so 2.42 divided by 2, that will become 1.21. And dividing 3.864 divided by 2, so that will be equals to 1.932. Now, as we have to give our answers to three significant figures, so the final answer will be x is equals to 1.21, and the second answer will be 1.93. Now we can add 2 pi to both of these answers, but when we divide by 2, it will always be less than pi. So we'll have to leave our answers to x 1.21 and x 1.93, and the other two values are x0 and pi.